Today's topic, what we are going to talk about is how to, some 5 things or more than that, how to end relationship with a narcissistic person. Having a relationship with a narcissistic person is a very overwhelming process, and often you become a patient of a narcissistic victim syndrome, which involves anxiety, depression, being on the roller coaster, self-doubts, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-respect, and a complete lack of self-awareness. The first bullet point which we need to know is that a narcissist, they thrive on your emotional reaction. For them, they will put you in various scenarios and situations in which they want a reaction of anger and frustration out of you. Because by having that reaction, they confirm themselves that yes, they still have control and power over your emotions. So they feel that sense of power and superiority when you react in any of the situations which they have created for you to overreact. A very good example is out of this that even if you try to change some plans, you try to assert yourself, they will completely reject it. They will remind you of your past mistakes, what you have done, and the way things didn't work, the way you planned, and they will try to shut you off. Till if you are getting angry and agitated, they'll say, see, you are getting angry again. It's very clear you don't have any control over your emotions. So let me handle this and let me plan this. This is one of the typical traits of a narcissist. Well, the other bullet point which you all have to remember, specifically the people who are in relationship with them, is it's a very push and a pull dynamic which is going on. The narcissistic will always first value you up, will really give you attention, will really admire you. And it's a very good saying that too much of admiration is poison, and something is wrong when somebody is really admiring you out of the blue or out of the box. So once they do that, suddenly they will give you silent treatment when things are not going according to them and when they are not happy. So they will try to create insecurity and fear of abandonment within you, so that you always have to depend on them for approval, because that's their main aim, that you have to ask for approval for everything, what you think, what you do, and what you want to be, whether it's successful in life or whatever career you want to choose. So they need you to take approval from them for everything. Another very important bullet point which we have for narcissists is that reconciliation and compromise is not part of their system. By no means they will ever reconcile or compromise with any kind of situation. Even if you want to give closure to any situation, they are not going to reconcile, because that's not part of them. Because if anything which they do, which is mutual resolution or a closure is happening, they will think they are losing their power. They are losing the control over the entire situation and over you or this relationship. Another bullet point, which has various discussions on YouTube by various psychologists, and even I discussed that in my last video, is about gaslighting and denial. You have to be very careful with that, because whenever you are going to try to discuss any unresolved issue, a narcissistic will often pretend as if they have no clue what you're talking about. They'll say, they'll be at denial. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think this happened. I don't think we ever went through this. You are delusional. What are you talking about? So they'll start gaslighting you because they want you to get frustrated and angry and give up. They want you to actually give up on the situation so that they can take over the control and the power again. Another important bullet point, which most of the narcissists they follow, is they will do your psychic reading with manipulation. They will tell you how you feel. They will disregard your feelings, no empathy, and they will let you know, hey, honey, you are feeling happy at present. No, 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 you are getting angry now. We need to stop discussing about this. This is not going to work because you are really feeling sad at the moment. Even if you are trying to challenge them, they will call you crazy. They will call you, you have no clue how you feel. It's a long way for you to go. Now we will talk about certain steps to end the relationship. You really need to have a strong willpower and fortitude if you want to attend a relationship with a person who has narcissistic personality disorder. But once you have decided, it's a good idea to start with certain steps so that you can have complete healing. The first one is accept it. Accept in a very good way that this person is not going to change. Things are not going to change. The patterns and cycles are going to repeat. Denial is not helpful. Interestingly, I have it here somewhere. One of my patients today, he mentioned his wife has narcissistic personality disorder. It's very clear. So he said that I have given up on the idea for her to change, but I am not giving up upon her. Not a good idea, because if you are giving up upon any hope that the person is going to change because they're not even aware and they're not even trying to change, then not giving up upon the person means that you're ready to live in that relationship and you're ready to allow that person to walk over you and deplete your self esteem and carry on the relation like that. So denial is not helpful. Firstly, you need to accept with your entire willpower that yes, I need to end this relationship because I want more out of my life apart from this relationship. The other important point, which once you've decided to end this relationship, is that one should start learning, or one should start grieving before the end has come or it's coming. Because grieving and a loss of a relationship and emotions, they follow the entire process. You have to go through various roller coasters. You have to go through crying spells. You remember, we do follow the Dabda theory here of denial, anger, then bargaining and acceptance. So out here, acceptance needs to be first, that yes, this relation is not going to work and the person is not going to change, and then we start grieving over it. We start letting it go. Because what happens with most of the people when they're in such kind of a relationship in which it was red carpet in the beginning and all that love bombing and love blooming is a very important step to be in a narcissistic relation in which you're really valued high. So people do come and patients do come and tell me that, Dr. Grover, it is not, it seems to me that I am in love with him or her. I'm out of love with him and her, but I am more in love with the time and the moments which we had spent together in the beginning. So they are still stuck to those flashy, fake moments which were created when the fish bait was thrown over them by the person who I do call them as charmers. So they are still stuck with those moments, and they are hoping that those moments will come back, and this is just a bad phase or a bad time of a relationship which is happening. Not a good idea, because if we are going to try to hold the time doesn't get captured, right? Because time is going on its own. It's not going to stop. So that good time which you had with the person, that rosy for a bed of roses and the red carpet which you had, that has come and that is gone. So now you're living in the time where this is a very toxic and a lethal relationship. So it's better for you if you can start grieving over it and start bidding it goodbye even before it's ending, to make yourself feel easy. It's a process of healing, it's a healing process. Another important bullet point, which I usually suggest to my patients, is to reflect on the past. So, before even when you are going through the process of ending the relation, as a typical trait of a narcissistic person, they are going to try to come back to you. They are going to try to hook you back, to be the charmer again, and would like this relation to continue, because they need some primary supply or a secondary supply from you, your reactions, to keep them themselves, their false self, what they have created, intact. So another very important and good step is that take out a pen and a paper, like old school, and start writing step by step how you were treated. How you were treated when it was your birthday, how you were treated when your parents were there, how you were treated on the anniversary, how you were treated with the news of the pregnancy, how you were abused in a certain social setting, how you challenged him on her for certain reasons and you were gaslighted, and for days together you were in the bed and you couldn't come out, you couldn't gather yourself because it was very a high level of emotional or physical abuse. So start writing all those things on a pen and a paper. And after you've written that, and when you are still wary of not ending the relationship, then look at that sheet and then wonder and ask this question to yourself: is it really worth it? Is it really I want this out of my life? Is it I have taken birth to just to be in this relationship? Is it that I am going to sit in this waiting room for long for the person to change and things to change? And if the answer surely is going to be no, then you are at the right direction of leaving this person and ending the relationship. Trust me. The next step can be, the third step is limit the contact with them. Some withdrawal theory or a gray rock theory, which we call in psychology. It's that limit your text messages and limit your conversations. If the person is writing you long text, just give one-word replies, yes, no, and try to withdraw yourself and don't come into their gaslighting again, or don't come back to having a conversation about past or present, or stop replying to their reminders. Hey, honey, you remember you have doctor's appointment next month. Do you want me to come? I have to mention to my boss that I'm going to take a half-day leave. It is just they are throwing a bait over you to have conversation and to get you back and to roll you back into this relationship, because the end product after your conversation, it starts from your health, and appointment comes to let's meet for dinner to make it up, or let's have a word, let's come across each other. Another important bullet point which you can follow is cut off all the ties. And you don't have to feel guilty for that, because I am sure before you take that step, you have tried trillions times to make this relationship work. You have tried many times to compromise to make the other person happy, the narcissistic person happy. So out here, you don't have to feel guilty. You have given them their chances, and you don't have to be honest to them. You have no obligation towards them to be honest to them. So cut all the ties. Stop visiting the places where you can run into them, because it can be something which they can lash out with anger, or maybe they will try to reel you back in with their charm again. So outer being kind to you. So it's better not to go to the places where they are there, because you are not ready to be the fish on the bait again, because you've had enough, because enough is enough. So these were the 5 good bullet points which I mentioned to you from the beginning, how the personality of the narcissistic person is, especially when they're in a relationship, and what you must have been going through, and some important 5 bullet points of to end this relationship when you have to, when you have decided to end this relationship. In the end, what I would like to say that leaving a narcissistic person or ending the relationship with a narcissistic person is a very overwhelming process. You really need high level of fortitude and willpower to end the relationship, but it is possible. Follow the route of therapy and self-healing, because what is most important here is your well-being and your mental health, and you have already gone through a lot of emotional damage, and they tend to drain you out, and you are totally drained out and consumed. It's not worth it. So you have to follow the process of therapy and the healing process. That should be your main aim and objective. Even if though they try to get you back in, you have to have the willpower not to get back into the pattern. And because a very interesting bullet point which I mentioned before is that a narcissistic person does not want to give up their power and their control, and they will continue the patterns and process till they find someone else to make as a victim, and they can have somebody else as a primary or a secondary supply. Then they will sign you off and ask you to move on. Even if this relation ends, you are going to get up in the morning, the sun is going to rise for you, right? The sun is going to set for you, work carries on, people around you carry on, the time carries on. So it's not worth wasting your time and giving any importance to such people in the life or to such relationships. And hope this video was helpful to you. If yes, please subscribe and just press the thumb, and I will come across you again, and I will have some other topic for you next time on narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder. So all the best till then.